You very much for sharing is not turned on. Can you allow me to share my screen, please? Thank you for very much for having me here to speak with you today. And I hope the net effect is that, nope, still not turned on. Just let me
Sorry,
know
give me one
when you've
second.
turned it on. So you go to participants and then
Oh,
click on my name.
thank you. It's been a bit.
You're welcome. Fortunately, my last company was an early adopter of Zoom, so I've been using it for about 10 years.
It should allow you to share.
All right.
I'll stop sharing mine.
Okay, and everybody can see my screen? Great. All right. Thing for the start, little kid says to his mom, when I grow up, I want to be a sailor. And she says, well, son, you have to decide. You can't do both. So a lot of people think that sailors are just big kids sailing around in boats. My name is Peter Phillips, and I'm the president of Challenge Sailors San Diego. I'm a fourth generation San Diegan and have been sailing all my life. I became involved in adaptive sports at and graduated from San Diego State University. Go Aztecs. Um, Worked most of my life in healthcare, primarily in the IT space, and started out at Ray Children's Hospital. I've always had a hand in volunteering and served on the board of directors for Southern California Yachting Association and the Southern California Yachting Association and the Recreational Boaters of California. And I'm still the chair of adaptive boating for SCYA. Started sailing with Challenge Sailors in 2018, and in 2022, I became the president. And I'd like to make this interactive. So if anybody has any questions along the way, please go ahead and jump right in. Um, and best to just go off mute and ask the question rather than using the chat. Uh, um, So, history of our organization in 1978, a couple of disabled veterans were sitting there in their wheelchairs on Mission Bay, watching people sail, and they were sitting while they were sailing, and they said, "Hey, that looks like fun, and we could do it because they're just sitting around." And so, in 1990, they took on the name Challenged America, and Uh, that was when they finished the San Diego to Ensenada race, and they structured their efforts as a program and created the name. And the focus was on big boat sailing, and they did several Newport to Hawaii races. So a race called the Transpac or Trans-Pacific race. Then as far as challenge sailors goes, um, a group of volunteers broke off from Challenge America in 2014, and Challenge America donated 16-foot sailboats to a couple of volunteers who were acting as interim custodians of the boats. and formed the group Challenge Sailors San Diego, which is now an award-winning program offering free adaptive sailing for people living with disabilities. So I should ask, how many people have ever sailed in their lives? Okay, and how many people would like to go for a free sail? Okay, Jack has sailed. Jack, are
I've
you sailing
really,
now?
I'm horrible at it. I capsized every time. I took it as a class actually at San Diego State. Um, but yeah, my
Okay.
boat would flip upside down time, but
All right.
it's hard,
Well, this
harder than
boat,
you would think.
the Martin 16, is a keel boat, and it will not flip upside down and it will not sink. So every Friday and Saturday, year round, from 11:30 to 3, variety of diagnoses, MS, cerebral palsy, would fit right in. So we make it easy, fun, and exhilarating. I was out sailing our boats home from Coronado to Harbor Island today, and I can tell you it was exhilarating. So we have 8 Martin 16 sailboats that are specifically designed to be adaptive. And then we have 2 other boats, an RS Venture, which is 16 feet, and a Hansa Scud 18, which was in the Paralympics in Brazil in 2016 and took 5th place. So got a really fast Paralympic sailing boat. Um, and so more experienced adaptive sailors can actually do 100% of the sailing, but new adaptive sailors can just sit back and relax while the companion sailor handles the boat. But the ultimate goal is to make the person who is an adaptive sailor, somebody who has a disability, give them the ability to sail completely independently. And that goes for rigging the boat as well as sailing the boat. And the expert in the back seat can just go for a ride. So at this point, I'm going to play a video. It's 6.5 minutes, and it really does a great job of describing the, well, what we do at Challenge Sailors. And so here you can see one of our Martin 16 sailboats with the 2 people in it. And this video was created by the Air Force Alumni Association, and it's really professionally produced, and I hope you enjoy it. And I certainly hope the audio works. And if it doesn't work, oh, wait, stop. That's not going to work. I need to share my screen.
Active sport is once you got your sailor in and ready, it's freedom.
Can you hear the audio? Kalena?
Hi, I'm Dale Birchby. I'm a member of the class of 1974. We're in San Diego. We're on Harbor Island, which is in the main San Diego Bay with the organization Challenge Sailors San Diego. And what we do as an organization is we sail with sailors that have disabilities. The boats that we're on were specifically designed for adaptive sailing. And so the single sailor in the front can reach all the controls. They do use it. We use a joystick instead of a tiller, which is different from a sailboat. But all the controls for all the sails come together right there. As a companion sailor, I sit in the back of the boat. All of us companions do. We can reach over our sailor if we need to grab something. Some of them may not have much upper body strength, so sometimes we help pull in the line. And I can reach back and steer if I need to. So a lot of times I don't touch the helm the whole time, but I can take complete non-sailor out for a sailboat ride, even with me sitting in the back if we want to. If you can even bump a joystick, you can steer the boat and trim the sail. And for folks that are more disabled than that, we can operate that power assist unit with breath tubes. So if you can sip and puff on a breath tube, you can be in total control of the boat. I retired in the spring of 2018, and close friend of mine on the block who has done volunteering with other adaptive sport activities knew of my sailing interests and said, "You ought to look into this. I think you might match." And it just worked from the start. It's the opportunity to sail, the opportunity to give back, help people do the kinds of things I was talking about as far as getting out of a wheelchair.
I get to go sailing, something I never did before. It's exciting being out on the water, just enjoying the scenery, and hopefully a lot of wind will be there. That makes it a lot of fun.
Every day is kind of different. We have some regulars, we have some folks that only show up as part of the group. We coordinate with Wounded Warriors and paralyzed veterans, or just other groups that want an outing for folks that have disabilities. On a day where we have 6 or 7 people out in the boat, we may have 20 people involved, because you've got a companion sailor behind each of those. You've got somebody with the dock leads, you've got 2 or 3 people on dock support, so they're launching and catching the boats when they come back in. So it takes, and it's all volunteer effort. So it's a lot of effort by some really nice folks. And I've been really struck by, just to a person, how caring and careful the whole team is. I mean, the #1 focus is safety, of course, but whatever the sailor's disability might be, how do you accommodate it? Some folks can fall into the boat themselves. We have some folks who've had like traumatic brain injuries and all that. They're physically able as far as just strength, upper body strength. We have other folks who've been sailing a long time, but have some limitation on what they can do. So you have to adapt to that, and everybody listens, pays attention. If it takes an extra 20 minutes to put the power assist unit on and to strap somebody in and get get them strapped because they can't hold themselves upright, but they can use the joystick. People just do what it takes, and it's just the caring and the dedication of the volunteers. It's been really, really inspirational to be a part of it. We also do participate in regattas. It happens we got about 3 lined up in the next 3 months, but at least several times a year we go out and from a couple different points in San Diego Bay here, participate in regattas among ourselves. We have some folks who don't like racing at all. We have some of the type A folks who only want to race and don't want to go out and just putter around. So, kind of 2 different personalities. You got folks like me in the middle who just love to sail. I'm pretty much in the middle of the fleet, maybe in terms of racing, razor edge racing, but we have a good time. The single word that always hits home with me, and a lot of our sailors use it in reaction to being out, is freedom. We have one young lady who only started sailing with us recently and doesn't have really that much background sailing. But she's got a lot of background in a wheelchair. And her exact words were, "I realized when I was out there, when I'm sailing, I'm not disabled. It's freedom." That you experience that whether you live the rest of your life in a wheelchair or whether you walk around, without any disability problem. And the range of disabilities that we accommodate, particularly impresses me. So giving people the opportunity to experience sailing and being able to facilitate them doing the things they're doing to enable that magic moment or that magic hour or 2 on the water.
It's a great program, and the people here are wonderful too. They make me feel welcome, and I have gain friendship by being here as well.
Okay, so I think that gives you a really good idea of what it is we do and uh, the kind of boats. And we are out sailing on San Diego Bay, and we sail all over San Diego Bay, and it's great fun. And let's catch up. There we go. So our mission statement. Our mission is to provide therapeutic, recreational, and competitive adaptive sailing opportunities for people with disabilities to enhance their dignity, well-being, and independence. And it is we do realize that on a regular basis, almost every single sail. And it was only recently, within the past year and a half, that we added the word competitive to this mission statement, because so many of our sailors really enjoy the racing. In fact, we had the boats over in Coronado this weekend for a 2-day race on Saturday and Sunday. And 6 of our boats were racing. So you got a good view of the sailboats. There's another shot of them, and here's a close-up of the seat where the adaptive sailor sits. And so it's a nice, comfortable, snug bucket seat, and you can see here are 2 adjustments for the sails over here. There's actually an adjustment for the main sheet and the jib that controls the sails right here, and then another couple of adjustments over here. And that's pretty much all you need to do other than steer the boat using this joystick here, which is different from the electronic joystick that someone like a quadriplegic might use. Again, 16 feet long. The beam is the width, 4 feet 4 inches. The draft is the depth in the water, and with the keel down, and our keels are always down, it's only 3 feet 4 inches below the water line. So it's a very short keel. But at the same time, it's 330 pounds. So this really adds, and this is the keel right here. It adds to the stability of the boat and prevents it from tipping over. It does tip, but it won't tip over. And when it tips, it might even take in some water, but it will not tip over and it will not sink. So I mentioned that we are an award-winning program. So in 2023, we were awarded the Robbie Pierce Award for 2022 by U.S. Sailing. And this award recognizes the best program in the United States for the program that's made notable contributions to promote public access for sailors with disabilities. And if you haven't heard of U.S. Sailing, it is the governing body of sailing in the United States. Our facilities are fully accessible, and we have lifts. Here you see a person on a lift, and she has a stirrup underneath her. And then this is the lift itself. And so they get raised up out of their wheelchair or scooter, and then someone is here in the boat, and they get dropped into that seat that I showed you on the other page. And it's all a very smooth process. and something that we do on a regular basis, and something that's very safe. And here's that person, Sue, who's actually our scheduler and has been since 2014. And you can read what she has to say about her experiences. Oh, and I didn't say she's completely deaf. So here's a picture of the joystick, the electronic joystick. And for those with limited hand and arm capability, it's very similar to a joystick that you find on an electric wheelchair. And there's another spool like this on the other side. You can see the very bottom of it there. And so these spools, if you move the joystick one way, will let the sails in or out. And then if you move it the other way, side to side, then it causes the rudder to turn so you can turn the boat. So just with this joystick, you can let the sails out or pull them in, or you can change the direction of the boat entirely. It's very cool. And for somebody who doesn't even have that hand-arm capability, we have a sip and puff unit where you can do the same thing simply by breathing in or out on two different straws. It's really high tech and incredible. So here's a comment from one of our blind sailors. And again, she's always sailing with a companion sailor in the back seat, but I'll let you read what she has to say. Tammy's been sailing with us for a long time. She loves to race. She was just racing in the race this past weekend. And she's a really bright woman and loves to sail, loves to race. Oh, so this did mess up. So I apologize for this. When I did the preview, it worked. Okay, so who can sail with us? As I mentioned earlier, and here's a few more people with stroke. So the man who was in the yellow flotation device is someone who suffered from a stroke, ALS, PTSD. Some of the disabilities are physical, others are cognitive, and some of them are invisible. You really would not be able to tell that that person has a disability. And then, as I said, the two criteria are that they must be medical stable and able to follow directions. And we have a minimum age of 8 and no upper age limit. And this is a blind sailor who may be under the age of 8. We used to have a clinic for blind sailors. So this is Colin. He suffers from muscular dystrophy, lives in Vermont, but tries to get away from the snow and cold by coming out to sail with us during the winter months with his mom. And again, I'll let you read this and see what he has to say. And he's another one of our sailors that really enjoys racing. He races on the East Coast, races in Canada, and he's pretty darn good at it. So every experience level, from people who have been sailing all their lives, as I have, to people with no experience at all. We welcome everyone. Individual sailing days are most Fridays and Saturdays at 11:30. And we sailed the regatta this past weekend. That was the Southern California Yachting Association Midwinters over at Coronado. At the end of April, we have another regatta. And during the summer, Point Loma Yacht Club does a Charity Bay Race benefiting challenge sailors. And here you can see the Hotel del Coronado in the background as we race on Glorieta Bay. And in total, we'll probably have about 6 different races this year. We also have special group sales. So if your group, the Aztec Adaptive Sports, wanted to say, we want all 8 boats, all 8 Martin 16s, to go for a sail on a specific date, that's something that you could promote in your program and go sailing with us as a group. Again, completely free, and with the benefit of an expert sailor sitting in the back seat who can teach you how to sail. So we do this by special arrangement on a specific date. Groups that we've sailed with in the past year include Spinal Network, SoCal Adaptive Sports, San Diego Unified School District, including the TRACE program, Paralyzed Veterans of America, and visually impaired students. The way that we're able to do our program for free is through the support of different sponsors, and additionally, just individual donors who believe in our mission, and whether they're sailors or whether they have someone in their lives that has a disability. We rely on the generosity of our community. We have sponsorship by yacht clubs, Rotary, Lions Club, the San Diego Parrot Heads Club, Kiwanis. Safe Harbor is the marina where we have our boats, and they sponsor us, as well as a variety of others. So now I'm looking at doing a group sale video, and this was a group sale we had recently with Sail for Epilepsy, and they produced this video, and I think you'll enjoy it. And my interesting, so technical difficulties, just one moment, please. Hi, I'm Peter Phillips. Getting there. I'm the president of Challenge Sailors San Diego. Challenge Sailors get people with disabilities out sailing on San Diego Bay completely for free. Today, we had a very special guest visiting from Boston, Sail for Epilepsy, and they brought in people from the local community to
organize a group sale for people with the epilepsy disorder. And they had a fun day on San Diego Bay experiencing the joys of sailing. We have a fleet of 11 boats. 8 of them are Martin 16 sailboats. Each of them are specifically adapted for people with disabilities. All of the lines to control the boat, as well as a joystick, is directly in front of the person sitting in the bucket seat. So it allows them to adjust the sails, the direction of the boat, all within easy reach. If somebody doesn't have the upper body strength or shoulder or arm strength to control those, we have a joystick that they can use, similar to the joystick on an electric wheelchair. If they have further disabilities where they don't have the hand and arm control, the person can use a sip and puff. And simply by breathing in and out on 2 different straws, they can adjust the sails and the direction of the boat. During a group sail, we have an orientation meeting to describe what's going to happen during the day. It's led by what we call the dock lead, and that person describes the wind conditions, the tide conditions, and some of the safety features that we employ to make sure that our sailors and our volunteers are kept safe. After the dock lead discussion, the pre-sail briefing, we head down to the boats, get the boats rigged if they're not rigged already, and orient the person going for a sail, the person in the front seat who's going to be doing the sailing itself, to the features and parts of the boat and how to control the boat, so that they're oriented, they're familiar with the boat and how it works before they even leave the dock. Then the fun really starts. They are cast off and get to enjoy the fun of sailing. All of that resulting in coming back to the dock safely with post-sail snacks and sea stories. It's really our volunteers that make it all happen. We have an incredible team of people who are so generous with their time, starting with dock support, helping to rig the boats and get people in and out of the boats, send them out sailing. And then each person who sails with us is paired with a companion sailor who sits in the back seat, and they are expert sailors that we've tested time after time to make sure that they know exactly what they're doing. And both the companion sailor as well as the adaptive sailor just go out and have a great time on San Diego Bay.
Okay, so just a little bit different perspective on a sail, this time with a group sail. And you saw and heard some of the same things, just to reinforce the message. So how can you all support us? Well, number one, we want people with disabilities to come sail with us. That is what we do, and we can't do what we do without people with disabilities coming for a sail with us. Telling your friends and family about us. They may know somebody with a disability who wants to come for a sail, or somebody who wants to volunteer with us. And make a donation to us on our website. And we'll take a quick look at that, poke around on it before we wrap up. But then also, we need volunteers. Volunteers are our lifeblood. We can't sail without them. And students and professionals in physical, occupational or recreational therapy, in kinesiology, rehab, or adaptive sports are all great potential volunteers. People in business and marketing, well, what would they do? They do the kinds of things that I do. We cannot run our organization without making sure that all of the administrative tasks get done. And there's plenty of that to do. So we have lots of different opportunities for volunteering. Check out our website. So I show we have 3 minutes left of the presentation. So why don't we go ahead and, do this and share and great. Don't you just love it when so enter password. Just 1 second. And there we go. So here's our website and navigation up here. If you want to go for a sale, you click on go sailing. If you want to volunteer, you apply here to volunteer. If you want to see what dates we sail, just click on the calendar and it appears that video. Click on calendar again. If you click calendar, you'll see the date. Can you hear me, Kalena? Just nod your head if you can hear me.
It's cutting out a little bit.
First place.
Sorry, y'all. We're having some difficult
Kalena, can you hear me
difficulties.
now?
Oh, hi, Peter. We can hear you.
Okay. Adrian, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect. Hi.
Okay, great. Thank you. We'll go back and I was saying if you click on our calendar. Okay. Well, it appears that Cox is not being my friend right now. But you can see the different links. We have a variety of resources. And yeah, it's pretty easy to navigate. And if you ever want to see that video again, if you want to learn about us, here's our mission, vision, and values, a variety of people who make up our board of directors and key people in the organization. And I'll stop share there. Go back to my PowerPoint. And so here's contact information, and I can provide this presentation so you can have all this info. Happy to have you contact me directly or reach out to the organization. And there's what it looks like when we're out for a sail. Lots of adaptive equipment and no boats at the dock. So at this point, I'll open up the floor to any questions.
I have a quick question. So if for example, I have like no experience sailing. So if like someone like me were to volunteer, would you give them like a training like session or how would that work?
So So I meant to create that slide. So for somebody who hasn't had any experience, they start with an orientation day, and it's on a regular sailing day. In fact, we have one this Friday. And um, Dale, the guy who was narrating that first video we looked at, he's one of the people that does our orientations. And so you, when the boats are being rigged, you go down on the dock and you watch the boats being rigged. You help out as possible. You look at the experience of the lift, how to get somebody into a boat if there's somebody who needs to use the lift that day. And then you talk about, in general, what it's like to work as dock support, uh, which is that first step, which is rigging the boats, helping the adaptive sailors to get into the boats and casting them off for a sail. And then similarly, when they come back, we need to uh, help the boats come into the dock, uh, get the sailors out of the boats, and de-rig the boats. And so dock support is the first volunteer position after orientation. And as soon as we're able, we get people out for sails so that they can learn about sailing the Martin 16. And so generally speaking, a new volunteer who has no sailing experience will go out in a boat and they'll sit in the back seat and they'll be trained on how to sail the boat. And after doing that a couple times, then they'll sit in the front seat and actually control the boat and learn how to sail it, again, with the expert sitting in the back seat. So then after doing that a few times, then they may be ready to get checked out as competent to sail with an adaptive sailor. And then they would sail with someone like me, who is an adaptive sailor, but also an expert sailor, and with a non-complicated diagnosis. And so it's a very gradual process for somebody who has no experience, but we do have a track for that, and can train you to eventually become an expert sailor.
Very cool. Thank you.
I have a question, Peter. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I was turning on my video and I
That's okay.
killed the audio.
Thank you for coming. It's cool to hear from you, from someone who is involved in this industry. I was wondering what inspired you to get involved in adapted sports sailing rather than how you got into that space.
So interestingly enough, I started, as I said in my intro, with adaptive sports at San Diego State, where I worked with, it was called the Adaptive Athletics Union, run by Betty Bacon, who was very famous at the time as an advocate for the disabled. And so I participated in track and field, swimming, table tennis. I think that was it. Track and field was my focus. And so I went to regionals, I went to nationals. I'm sorry, California State was at San Diego State University, then went to nationals up in Carson, and I got reclassified into a very well, I was going to have to compete against paraplegics who were all muscles from the waist up. And that wasn't going to work. So I decided to focus on my studies. But uh, when I was probably about 40, I bought a sailboat and had that for about 20 years. And it was a 34-foot sailboat, and it was becoming a lot harder for me to get around on. I have full leg braces that I use and a walker to get around. And so I sold that boat, and I was still working, and a friend of mine at work was telling me about how his nephew was volunteering with an organization called Challenge Sailor San Diego. And I said, well, I am an expert sailor and I can teach people to learn how to sail. And so I started sailing with Challenge Sailors back in 2018. And the whole time they were talking about me becoming the president. And it was because of my connections with different sailing organizations. They thought that I would be a good fit, as well as they would get more exposure. Um, and yeah, then at the end of 2021, I dropped off of the two different boards that I was serving on and agreed to be the treasurer of Challenge Sailors. And after 3 months, they said they wanted me to become the president. So in April of 22, I became the president.
Very cool. It's cool to see that you've used like your business background to almost like give back to what has led you into the space that you are today.
How do you know I have a business background?
You mentioned earlier that you do marketing. That's what you do. You
Oh,
see
okay. No, well,
business. You said that
here
you
I
do
am
business.
doing
You need
marketing.
people, you need volunteers that do what you already do.
No, so actually, my bachelor's was in microbiology, and then I got a master's in business management, both from San Diego State. And
Wow.
so, yes, I actually did use my business skills as a project and then global program manager, ultimately in healthcare information technology for a global company here in San Diego called ResMed. So yes, I'm especially using my project management skills are coming in really handy. Any other questions? Well, I don't think I could have timed this any better. It was pretty much spot on 45 minutes and 15 minutes for Q&A, and here everybody gets to go early. So get back to your busy lives. So how many people on this call are involved with adaptive sports?
I think pretty much, not to speak for the group, but I think pretty much everyone here is, since we're all
Oh,
volunteer with
okay.
adaptive sports.
Okay. So um, if you can put in the chat, how many people would consider going for a sail with Challenge Sailors San Diego? And you could just put it in the chat and say yes or no. You can't make it anonymous, so I guess you have to be honest. Okay, there's some very positive feedback. So I would say, you work too hard as students. I've been there, done that. Sailing is really good for your brain. And if you go sailing, you're going to be a better student. And you'll also be a better sailor. So it's a win-win, and I encourage you to join us. And let me go to my last contact PowerPoint slide and see if it will. So all you really have to remember is challengesailors.org to get to our website. But I will, yeah, that works. So Kalena, if you will leave the PowerPoint at the Zoom running for a minute, people can just click on challengesailors.org and then it'll be open in their browser and they can save it to favorites. Or if there's any specific information you want there, please just copy and paste and be in touch. Feel free to reach out to me directly. I hope to see you at the docks.
Thank you so much for coming and speaking
All right.
to us.
Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
And then for anyone worried about attendance points, I have everyone marked down. So I think a lot of people left the meeting. But
Do I get credit?
would you like credit? Would you like to be? Oh, dang, it's only SDSU students.
Darn.
Yeah.
Okay, see y'all later.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Peter.
you.